Feeling very nostalgic today, and I have been looking back on my Instagram. Hey guys, and welcome to my living room in my new apartment. So I've been feeling very nostalgic today, and I have been looking back on my Instagram and looking at my layovers from Emirates, my days in the Little Red Hat, and just really missing some of the adventures that I had in Africa and Asia and Europe and just all over the world. So obviously recently my new company has kind of been sending me to similar destinations over and over, which I'm definitely making the most out of, and it's amazing because they are really long layovers. And recently I have been able to get a lot with my buddy bid Sophie. So it's still been really good and I've been really enjoying myself. But I thought, what a good chance to let you guys know my 5 favorite layovers ever. So this is going to be a combination of my new company and my time at Emirates, to let you guys know the places that I really loved going. Number 5. Number 5 was actually my last ever flight with Emirates, and I'm a little bit surprised because it is a US destination, which I do enjoy, I do find fun, but I have always preferred like Asia or Africa instead of the more like Western cultures. But this layover was absolutely insane. So we landed into San Francisco and we had about a 50-hour layover. So the night we landed, we actually went to a Golden State Warriors game, a basketball game. And as you guys can probably tell by my channel, I love going to sports games in the US. So it was so much fun. And then the next day we rented a car and we headed out to Alcatraz, which was again crazy. I did study criminology actually while I was at university. So the whole concept of prisons and the prison system is very interesting for me. So we spent an amazing day doing the tours around Alcatraz, and then that night we drove through the Golden Gate Bridge during sunset and everything like that. This was an absolutely amazing trip. I wish I was vlogging back then. I wasn't. That's why you guys are stuck with photos today. But absolutely amazing, and I would definitely recommend to do it. Number 4. Number 4 would have to be my layover in Kenya. So I actually did bid for this layover twice. It was only 24 hours. The first time I went, none of my crew wanted to do anything, so I was kind of stuck in the hotel room alone, being miserable. But the second time I went, I had a very eager crew. So we started off the day by going into Nairobi National Park, where we got to go on a safari. This was amazing. We got to see things like giraffes and warthogs, like Pumbaa of Lion King, and we just had the best day driving around looking at safari. The amazing thing that we also got to see was we actually got to see lionesses while they were hunting, which they were so far away, but it was just insane. After doing that, we did go to the baby elephant sanctuary. So if you guys know anything about me, it is that my favorite animals are elephants, and it was insane because they would feed the elephants in front of you, and they were basically saying how elephants are like puppies, and they also don't realize how big they are, so they would go up to the crowd and start wanting to play and like push them and almost like push all of us over. But it was an amazing day. I got to see African elephants, I think, for the first time, and I loved it. We did finish up the day at the Giraffe Manor place that you see all over Instagram. We didn't have like breakfast or anything there, but you can go and feed the giraffes. This was a little bit intimidating because some of the giraffes will become aggressive and they swing their heads and try and hit you with their I don't want to say antlers, but their horns. So this bit was like a little bit intimidating, and I know one crew that we were kind of freaked out and went and sat in the car and didn't come out. But again, I think it was an absolutely incredible layover and I had an amazing time. So number 3. Number 3 has to be one of my favorite destinations while I was at Emirates, and people might be shocked by this, but it was my favorite. The flights were not well liked, so I managed to swap onto it, I think at least 4 times, and I also bidded for it, so I got it quite a lot. And it is Cape Town. So I always enjoyed going to South Africa. The environment and everything always reminded me a lot of home. So even when I couldn't come back home to Australia, if I got a South African flight, the seasons and the landscapes would make me feel more like I was going home, which was really nice. But the reason I love Cape Town was because beyond the part of the city is just absolutely beautiful. But it was always a great chance to go hiking. So they had Table Mountain and Lion's Head hike, which were absolutely incredible. These were my favorite things to do on the layovers. and I got to do them almost every time I went. There was also, I think, Camps Bay it's called, which was an area by the waterfront where I go for dinner, and there was a cafe that I absolutely love that did like smoothie bowls and like not peanut butter, almond butter on toast with banana and everything like that, which was just insane. So these layovers were short, again 24 hours, and the flights were about 9 to 10 hours to get there, and they were quite busy. So usually I'd be absolutely exhausted when I was there, but I just always had the best time. Number 2. All right guys, finally one from a new company, and if you watch my vlogs, it was pretty recent, but number 2 favorite layover ever has to be my Delhi layover where I went to Goa. This layover was amazing because I got to spend it with my buddy but Sophie, but not only that, it felt like we were on a holiday. The fact that I could hop on another plane and fly like across the country, or down, south in the country on a layover was insane. If you haven't watched my vlog, please check it out. I hope you guys have as much fun watching it as I had going. It was just insane. We got to spend time by the beach, we got to explore the beautiful city. I just cannot rave enough about it. If you ever do get a chance, or if you get a long layover in Delhi, or I think it's also close to Bangalore, definitely give it a go. Okay, now for my number 1. Now, sorry guys, this one is a little bit of a lie because it isn't one layover. This was the trip at Emirates that everybody wanted. This was like a top bid trip. Now, just a few months before I left, again, this was actually one of my last flights. Very difficult to get. I got put on my Rio Santiago trip. So usually you try and bid for Rio because you could either do a Rio Santiago trip or you could do a Rio Buenos Aires. I was more eager to go to Chile, so I was extremely excited when I got my Rio trip. Not only that, but the layovers there were long. So I started the trip with 48 hours in Rio, then I went and had 72 hours in Santiago, and then I came back for another 48 hours in Rio. Now, I would love to say that since I joined my new company, this is when I started getting very active on my layovers, but it wasn't. This trip was amazing. When we were in Chile, we went to some wineries and we went and saw some local towns, and we went into hot springs in the middle of the mountains. It was an amazing experience. I really got to feel like I got to see Santiago, but also the Chilean countryside, which was just amazing. I had such a good time there. It was absolutely everything I expected it to be, and it was so beautiful. And in Rio, we got to do the Telegrafo rock, which was an amazing hike. I actually did fall down on the way down, and I cut, I think, my arm, and I was bleeding, and we were meant to go hang gliding pretty much like straight after, so I had to quickly clean up at the hotel and then try and go hang gliding, which leads me to the next thing. We did go hang gliding. When we were in Rio, we went to like Copacabana and we did like a tour around the city. We ate Brazilian barbecue. It was just, again, another like amazing trip where I had such a good time. My only one regret that I did have during Rio was I did an open door or like no door helicopter ride. I did really want to go on that, but the crew who said that they were going to do that and the hang gliding with me changed their mind last minute and decided just to do the hang gliding, so I did miss out on that, but I honestly think that was the only regret that I had because I did have such an incredible time, and the trip was just amazing. I remember landing back into Dubai and being absolutely exhausted, but it was the best time ever. So I hope you guys have enjoyed reminiscing with me and exploring my favorite layovers of all time. If you're a flyer, please tell me what was your favorite layover and why, or if you want to be a flyer, or if you just want interested in travel, can you tell me what would be your dream destination for a layover? Where would you want to go? Or even which one do you think would be your favorite? Anyway guys, thanks for watching, and I have something exciting coming in my next vlog, so stay tuned.